are here because the outside world rejects you.
I'm the best there is at what I do, but what I do isn't very nice.
Come on, let's get nuts.
This guy's got the right idea. He wore the brown pants.
Cowabunga.
Cowabunga!
I made a money.
Come on, Peter Tingle.
Here we go.
What's up? What's up? What up?
What up, Cameo?
Yo, yo, yo.
I am Brad Reed. We are Nerds to Men on your radio dial. We wish we were on your radio dial.
On your Spotify dial.
Yeah.
On your Apple iTunes podcast dial.
Yeah.
Or wherever you get your podcast dial, that's where we're at.
There's so many, Cameo. There's like, I don't even know. I could look it up right now, but there's so many. But just wherever you watch or listen to podcasts, we're probably there.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
I'll leave it like that. How about that?
That'll work.
Though I am thinking, I've shared with the podcast listeners, our nerds, that we've been encountering, hardships financially. Not really. It's not like if it were that bad, I'd be like, hey, like I got to cut out Netflix and Peacock and Amazon. It ain't to that yet. Let's not get crazy, okay? But
not yet.
What we did do on our Spreaker account, which basically sends out the podcast to all the places we were just talking about, we opted for the free version instead of the like $20 a month version, right? And so it lets us upload like up to 4 or 5 podcasts at a time now. And so people that are like, oh man, I wish I could go back and see what they said about this. Or, we had interviews with Danny Trejo and Cameron Monaghan and man, lots of people actually. Leslie Uggam. I was just going through them the other day because I really think we should take advantage of our Patreon, which is Dope Pods, patreon.com/Dope Pods, because there you can upload like unlimited, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And so here's the thing. We didn't have any subscribers, which hurt my heart, but I understand. I understand. Times are tough. And you can get our show free on like YouTube and all that. So I get it. But I think what we're going to do, we're going to put all of the back episodes on Patreon. And we're going to try this one more time where you get $1 a month. You get all of our back episodes, new episodes, and then whatever else we can come up with that we're going to do going forward. Because we have made an effort, me and Cameo lately, to like, okay, let's do it weekly. Let's be consistent. Every Tuesday it comes out, a little later in the day sometimes, evening, but it's out. It's on Tuesdays.
Right.
Yeah. And so as we keep going, we're going to, hopefully do more stuff. We're in season 6, going on season 7 in a few months. And there's still a lot of stuff that we would love to do. So, but it's not all free either. So that's been one of the things slowing us down lately, but that's okay. We realized that some of the fault was on us. Like, not really fault, but we mentally or physically being kind of tired and, going through things and all that. We weren't doing a show every week. Now we are.
Right.
We've made this commitment and we've said, you know what? We're going to do it every week. And if it kills us, then we're dead. Right.
Then you'll never hear Nerds to Men again unless somebody tries to.
There'll be another Nerds to Men.
No,
there will.
Not like us.
I only say that because me and Gog started a podcast where we go through like every episode of Tales from the Dark Side. And we do like a watch along and we recap the episode. And then we also talk about like all the horror movies that I can't get Cameo to watch. And, and so some TV shows, some horror stuff, which, you know, that's a good place to go get all that stuff. If you're fans of Nerds to Men, because, you know, I'm on it. GOG actually was, you know, if you watched a few episodes back, he was one of our original nerds for a few years. And yeah, so if you want to listen to us talk about horror, then that's the place. But what I was going to say was I came up with the name Tales from the Dork Side after our other horror podcast ended last year. And I was kind of just waiting. I was waiting. And it was funny because I was thinking about GOG to do it, but I hadn't heard from GOG. And then he called me out of the blue. And we were talking. We were like, yeah, we got to do this podcast together.
Got to do it.
Yeah. But it took a minute to get it going. And of course, we waited till spooky season, which is now the month of October. And and we put out our first episode the other day. But in the meantime, I was like, I had looked up on Apple iTunes and there was no Tales from the Dork Side. And then the other day, right before I went on the air with our show, I looked it up again just to be, you know, certain, because now it's October.
Right. There
was a Tales from the Dork Side. They did one episode in February, and that was it. They didn't do any more episodes. So I was like, you know what? I'm taking it. I'll call it Tales from the Dark Side Pod or whatever I got to do. I'm just going to take it. And then, so then what I hadn't done, other than setting up a Gmail account that, you know, it allowed us to use that name, there are shows on YouTube that are called Tales from the Dork Side. But, Cameo, nobody's done a show in like 6 months or longer. No, not any of them. So I went ahead and I'm just taking the name. I'm just going to stick with it. Well, maybe. If I get a cease and desist, then yeah, we might call it Dorks from the Tail Side or something. I don't know. But so that's why I'm saying, Cameo, we've already had a couple people try to call themselves Nerds to Men just by using the number 2. And since we had set up like our Instagram, I think, and our Twitter with the number 2, we kind of have it all set up to where people can't really set anything up if they wanted to.
Right.
But I feel like if we stop doing the show, and like we haven't done a show in a year, then you know what? Somebody can take it. I don't care.
No.
Well, then what we need to do is get it trademarked. And that way when somebody does take it, we'll be like, hey, you can keep it, but cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching.
Right.
You got to pay us some money.
I'm down with that.
That's where I am with that. Because that'll probably be more money than we've made on Nerds to Men.
Exactly. That'd be great, though.
We did have like Chris Dunn was a patron for a little while, and then he dropped off, and yeah, it just I hadn't done much with it, but I think I'm gonna put all the old shows and the Tales from the Dork Side. I'm gonna put that on there with the unedited watch-alongs, because what we've been doing is for the 30-minute watch-along shows, we've been kind of cutting it down to maybe like the best of the audio.
Yeah, okay.
For the show. So you might tune in sometime, Cameo. You might pay $1. That'd be kind of messed up though if you had to pay $1 to listen to me and GOG.
And then my own show.
Yeah. Because really you don't have like any of the copies of the show. So if you wanted to be like, I want to go listen to this interview, because you actually, people don't realize this, you're the one who's done all the interviews. Like,
yeah, but you gave me questions though. So
yeah,
you were there
I did
in spirit. So
yeah, but that would be funny if you were like, I have to pay $1. It'd be like me if like my whole band got together and left me out, and I was like, I have to pay for a ticket to see y'all.
Right.
Nah. Never.
But I'm playing with you guys.
Never am I ever. Yeah. I'm still in the band.
Yeah.
Dang, that would be so disrespectful. Like, bro, I know you're playing bass in the band, but you got to buy a ticket. Like,
But yeah,
nah, I think I'm out. I'm out of
we'll
this thing.
discount it. We'll discount it.
Yeah,
but you still got to buy a ticket.
Well, you know, like the whole scam is like they always do the thing where all the bands have to sell their own tickets.
Yeah.
So they can get better spots on the show. And then, like, of course, they don't tell you like what the other band sold. They just give you the spot you were always going to get.
Right.
But they were counting on the fact that they weren't promoting the show. They're just going to let your band sell to all your friends and families, which is fine. Your friends and families should come, and they should support you, and they should pay $10 to $15, which is probably a local band ticket.
Yeah.
We always did, mostly we did just shows at clubs and stuff, so we just took part of the door. Yeah. And like if people drank a lot, like I don't encourage a lot of drinking, but if they drank a lot, then we got a little bit off of that too. So.
Oh, that's cool. Got some of the bar.
But seriously, if you want to support the bands while you're out there, what you got to do is buy their merch, their T-shirts and all that, because usually that's the money that goes straight to the band. You buy their CDs at the store on Apple or wherever you get music, that's going to the record company if they're signed, right? But if they're not signed, and especially if they're not signed, you gotta buy their merch and stuff, because that's what's gonna pay for their gas money. Because I guarantee you, bands go to all these shows and they go. It's happened to every band. Like, hey, where's the money for this show? Oh, we thought you were doing it for the exposure.
Right.
Hell no. Hell no.
No.
And see, I'll probably
expose
never
myself. I do that. I ain't got to do it on a stage.
I don't think any of the promoters listen to this podcast, so I'm not that worried about it. But if they do, I won't get to play any more shows in Oklahoma City. But I didn't. Yeah. I never got into that. I was always, because I worked on the radio, so I was like, I can promote myself.
Right.
I can give us our own exposure, And then so whatever. Anyway. I don't know how we got to all that, but what are you drinking, Cameo?
Zero sugar Sunkiss.
Ooh, I bet that tastes good.
Dude, it's delicious.
You know what? Just another off-topic thing, but I'm a diabetic, and like a lot of these, like Skittles and Starburst, they're like making these drink packets for your waters that are all zero sugar now. Like there's so much more selection nowadays for a diabetic, because 20 years ago I was like, oh, I have to drink diet soda. Ugh.
Yeah,
I got used to it though. Diet Dew right here.
Have you had Mountain Dew Zero? Yeah,
but it's got more caffeine in it than the one I'm currently drinking. Yeah, because I was like, what's the difference?
Oh, okay, I didn't realize that.
And I drink it for the caffeine, guaranteed, but I'm like, oh, maybe I'll just drink the regular one and save a year on my heart. You know what I mean? So
also true.
Yeah. All right, you want to do some nerd updates before we talk about a little bit about Andor, a little bit about She-Hulk, and a lot about House of the Dragon, probably?
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
All right. So the big nerd update that I saw that came out, I wanted to talk to you about, because I was like, ooh. I looked right into the eyes of her soul and said, anyway.
You said that though, right?
Oh yeah. Jordan Peele, Keegan-Michael Key, they haven't been together in a while. They, Jordan's been doing his thing. Keegan-Michael. Why am I blanking on
Keegan-Michael Key?
Yeah, Keegan-Michael Key. I was like, that doesn't sound right.
I know, every time I say his name, I'm like, is that right? Did I say it right?
Yeah, okay. I'm not the only one. But yeah, Keegan-Michael Key, they haven't been together. They've been doing their own thing though. Like Keegan's been in a few things. I'd say Jordan Peele's probably had the better career though, since they have left Jordan Key and Peele.
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of the same in the sense that I've seen Keegan in a lot of like uh streaming services stuff, like in Netflix. I think he has a show on uh what is that? Apple TV
Oh yeah.
or Apple TV, whatever it's called. I think he has something else on Prime, or it's coming out on Prime. I can't remember. But yeah, I think he's, doing his stuff.
It's
but
not that
also,
well, go ahead, sorry.
but I was just gonna say, Jordan's on the opposite side of the camera the majority of the time. So, I feel like they're both, pretty successful. Now,
Well,
I don't think a lot of people are talking about Keegan's stuff that he's in
exactly.
like they are Jordan Peele's.
Exactly.
But, I mean,
like
if you're talking that way, then yeah, most definitely.
he's staying busy. He's working. He's doing his
Mhm.
thing. But like he was in that Predators movie or Predator, I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
And nobody was saying he was a genius. And then you got Jordan Peele, who a lot of people say is a genius. I'm not saying that one is necessarily definitely better than the other, but the other one has more acclaim. I feel like.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
But
No, I got you.
the last thing we saw him in together was Keanu, right?
I think so.
The movie about the cat. I love that movie. I love that movie.
I made my wife watch that a few weeks ago.
So it looks like they're going to be in a stop motion movie that's coming out on Netflix. Comes out October 28th, so it's just right around the corner, right?
Oh, I thought it was this weekend. Okay.
Wendell and Wild is the name of it, but I didn't catch the exact. You knew a little bit more about the premise of the movie.
Yeah, so I think the main character is a little girl or adolescent girl, whatever. And she has these, from what she said in the trailer, demons, which
They're like her
I
pets.
was like something like that.
Oh.
But yeah,
You're not.
I can't
You're not
remember
fond of the demon thing.
No, I'm not. I don't do demons.
I'll tell you what. Generally, because I just talked about I love horror. I have a horror podcast with Gog. The demon movies are the ones that get me, man. They're the ones that I'm kind of like. I didn't watch Exorcist until even in the last 10 years. I'm 43 and love horror movies. I love the movie, by the way, but I can see why my mom was like, no, you're not.
Yeah, don't go watch that.
Yeah. Although, if Jesus wins, right? That's good, right?
I mean,
so, but what was the other ones? Oh man, the haunted, the possession of Emily Rose or whatever that movie was called.
mm-hmm.
That movie scared me so bad that I let this girl, I didn't even like her. I let her move in with me. Because I was like, every night I wake up at 3 a.m. in the movie, and I'd be like, oh my God, something's going to get me.
See, that's a demon. That's a demon right there.
Yeah. So, but this one's a kid's movie, so it's probably not as terrifying as those. But I assume it's a kid's movie, right? Just because it's stop motion doesn't necessarily mean it's.
Yeah, because I thought, Sausage Party.
Oh my God.
I didn't think it was going to be a kid's movie because it was Seth Rogen, but I didn't think it was going to be that.
Tell me you didn't sit down with the family and we're going to watch Sausage Party. It's a nice.
Oh no, not at all. Not even close.
Okay,
no.
Good. Because I was going to be like, oh no, that'd be the Daddy, you don't get to pick any movies ever again.
Right?
Oh man, that'd be terrible. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'll watch it. I'll let you know if it's kind of tame or if it's kind of satanic or however it goes. But when I saw that, I was like, "Woo, that's pretty sweet." I have a couple rumors and stuff too, but we had talked about this. Marvel has pushed some stuff back. And so I've been a little bit unhappy to hear this. But I have some exact dates. Blade, that's going to come out in 2024, September 6th, 2024. That's a little under 2 years away.
Yeah.
And then we've heard there's a new, they got rid of their director. And yeah, I don't know. That movie's not doing too good. But Deadpool 3, did we know when we talked about the Hugh Jackman thing when that movie was coming out? Because I've got a date.
Yeah, it's next year, right?
No,
June 6th.
nope, November 8th, 2024.
Oh, so they pushed that back? I swear it was in the summer.
Yeah, these are, like I say, they pushed back a lot of stuff. Fantastic
okay.
Four, February
2025?
14th, 2025. 25. My gosh. Like,
That's a little over 2 years away, but geez.
I know. Avengers Secret Wars, May 5th, 2026. That's according to Deadline Hollywood. They're verified. So we're going to take it.
I feel like anything is possible. They might, just depending on how, I wouldn't say really up to the fans. I'll just say if nothing crazy happens, like nobody gets injured doing a stunt, nobody gets sick, all these other, things that could delay something. I feel like maybe they might come out a little bit sooner. Maybe a month or two, not like a whole year, but I feel like, it could come out sooner, but we'll see. I don't think like anything that's coming out next year. I think everything is probably pretty set for where it's at.
You asked me on the show a few weeks ago how I would feel about Sam Raimi as the director of the Blade movie.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are saying after seeing Werewolf by Night with Michael Giacchino that and I hope I'm saying his name right. It's
Giacchino.
Don't do that. They want him to direct Blade now, and I was thinking that actually could be dope.
I would not mind it.
I thought he did such a great job, and I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. Don't hold me to this. Like, I won't bet the pod on it, but I'm pretty sure that was his first job directing.
Oh,
and yeah, I was impressed. So if he comes in as the director of Blade, then I'll be for that.
Let's go.
They're also talking about the Penguin. Because, like HBO Max went in and canceled a whole bunch of stuff. And so I didn't know if that was still going to happen. This Penguin show with Colin Farrell. But they're saying it's still going ahead. And it'll be about 6 to 8 hours. And it ends, the Penguin picks up about 1 week after the Batman. So, like, they're still underwater and all that. And I guess it's pretty much going to be the little vacuum that's left now that they took out the, oh man, who's the gangster that they, Falcone.
Oh my goodness. Falcone. Yeah.
So I was like, man, I feel like a bad Batman fan right now. So there's that cameo.
Just another little update. Sticking with the DC side, the new Gotham Knights video game is coming out this Friday, the 21st. So get ready to get that on. I think that's coming out on all consoles. So get ready for that this weekend, or this coming weekend, I should say. I saw some gameplay trailers, and it doesn't look too bad. I don't know if I'm as excited for it as I once was, but
when did they announce that? Like 3 years ago?
I think so. 2 or 3 years ago.
See, we're talking about movies that like are 3 years, but just that, there you go. That proves it right there. It's like, oh yeah, I forgot that was even happening.
Yeah, and you get to play. There's different storylines. So I don't know how many times you can, switch around or anything like that. But at the start of it, you get to pick whichever, Batman sidekick you want to play as first. You can play as Nightwing. What's her name? Batgirl. You can play as the Tim Drake Robin or Jason Todd's Red Hood. So you got 4 different options, 4 completely different storylines. I don't know if you pick one and they still have they'll do the same things. But yeah, it's going to be a co-op online game. So Brad, if you get it, you can play Batgirl and I can play Nightwing, and you know.
But
Kick
will
some
you
bad
be
guy
able
butts.
to play? Will you be able to play with PS4ers like me?
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
just think it's an online game, and
Because like dang, Grand Theft Auto.
mhm.
If you are on PS5 and you've got like the new online play that they've released for the PS5, you can't play with anybody on the PS4 anymore.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So I think they're probably going to start doing that to get everybody. But I heard that the good news is there's a bunch of PS5s coming. So
Yeah, I just got what you call it, an email saying that I could purchase one on Friday, and I was thinking about doing it, but then I was like, man, I gotta save this money because
you should
I
buy
don't know
me
how
one.
much. I was thinking about it.
Ooh.
I was thinking about it.
Oh, that
But,
would that would be the best gift a man could give another man. Other than his wife,
Right.
not your wife though. I mean,
obviously,
obviously,
because
she would be a great prize. Don't get me wrong, but I'll take the PS5 instead if you don't mind. If you don't have any arguments with that. Yeah, no, I actually I got an invite to buy one too, and I was like, y'all couldn't have sent me this like 6 months ago when I had cash on hand.
Right.
I'm struggling. I'm struggling.
That's how it is, man. They get you when you're broke.
Yeah. Well, the last one, I was like, okay, I bought one, and but my brother actually bought it, and then I gave it to my nephew. So, so I actually didn't have anything to do with it. It was just my, on my account.
You did have something to do with it.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for you, they wouldn't have the PS5.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another deal is I just saw today that Sacha Baron Cohen might be playing Mephisto in the MCU.
Ooh, I did see that. That.
So I think that'd be pretty cool.
I think that would be cool too. I like him, and I like him when he's doing, like when he acts and he's not being, well, I mean, he's always acting in all those other, but when he's not like when he gets a role where it's a real role and he's not like trying to trick people into thinking he's, Borat or the other guy that I can't remember. Anyway,
the rapper dude.
Yeah.
I cannot remember his name, but I know you're talking about.
Yeah. So he's a good actor. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think that he would be cool. Now, here's the thing though. I am sick to death of Mephisto.
Yeah.
Like,
because that's who everybody talks about
every time. So like until he actually shows up and they've signed the deal, I don't want to hear about it again. So keep it off our show, Cameo.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
They've been. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that John Boyega, Jamie Foxx, and Teyana Paris, who plays the oh my goodness, what's her name? She was in WandaVision. Monica Rambeau.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So they're going to be in a new movie, a Netflix movie called They Cloned Tyrone.
I
cannot wait to see this movie.
I like that.
I cannot wait.
What's the Wayans brother? It's no, not Damon.
Marlon.
Yeah, Marlon. He's got a movie on Netflix. I haven't watched it yet, but it looks like a kind of like a family type movie for the Halloween.
Yeah, I saw that too. I haven't seen it, but yeah.
Yeah, it kind of like it's probably like a funny, not as scary type movie, I'm guessing. But yeah. So I wanted to, before we talk about some TV shows real quick, I wanted to talk about next week, or actually when this comes out, it'll be this week. Black Adam is coming out. And then I was going to ask you, Cameo, like other than, I guess, seeing Black Adam in some of the video games like the Injustice, do you know much about him?
No, not really.
I don't either.
I did watch what was it? I can't not remember. I think it was called Death Battle
Yeah.
or something like that. And they gave like the history of Black Adam and how he got his powers and all that stuff. And they put him against Apocalypse and who would win out of those two. But yeah, I don't really know much other than he's part of the Shazam,
Right. Right.
people. So that's all I really know.
Well, there was some criticism because The Rock had said, who is of course starring as Black Adam, he said that he didn't want to have Shazam and him meet up yet. And I feel like that was a good call because the tone of a Shazam movie compared to what the Black Adam movie looks totally different. Wouldn't you agree on that?
Yeah, I agree. I agree for sure.
My nephews love that movie, and it, like we've talked about it before, it was a great movie for adults and kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that it wouldn't have had that same tone. And the same with Black Adam. Black Adam might have to it's kind of like how I've talked about last week where I love She-Hulk, I love Daredevil, I like what they're doing, but then when you mix the two tones, it's like you got Daredevil fighting Leapfrog. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I'm glad for Black Adam to do its own thing for the time being. One of the other criticisms I've seen too is just that The Rock is always The Rock in every movie. And I'm like, okay, that's a legitimate, but we talked about this before. Actors and movie stars, you get like a actor like Evan Peters and then you get movie stars like Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
like,
well, the funny thing that bring up Arnold Schwarzenegger, the only reason why he got into acting was because of his physique.
Yeah, right.
People like to look at it, so that's what he was known for. Like, you never saw Arnold Schwarzenegger play a role. Since you brought up Evan Peters, you would never see him as Jeffrey Dahmer.
Exactly, and if you did, it would be very off-putting.
Very off-putting. You would not see The Rock as I can't even think of a.
Well, I'll bring up one.
You wouldn't see the Rock as oh my goodness, Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like no,
yeah, you're right.
Obviously not, because The Rock is freaking huge.
Right. Well,
but it's just like, and he's not like, he's catering to what he is good at.
Yeah.
It's the cheesy, corny, and action packed type guy.
Well, listen, like Ballers. He was very good in Ballers. I thought even acting, he was good at it. But I mean, it's like he's in his lane. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
What was the Get Shorty sequel? I think it was, or oh man, it was one of those where The Rock. It was, and I think Andre 3000 was in it. But The Rock played like a gay dude, and it didn't come off as like good acting. It came off as like, him acting like in the way that it's not good, because you can tell that he's not like, there was not a realism to it. You see what I'm saying? He was overacting it. Right.
Right.
So,
and I'm not knocking The Rock at all. I'm not knocking his acting ability or anything like that. But The Rock has only one thing that he can actually do, and that's show off his muscles. that's the only role that is going to suit him, because you won't see him in a autobiographical movie.
No, you're right. He's not.
You won't,
he doesn't become a character. He's just The Rock doing what he's doing, being a movie star,
right?
An action star.
Right.
But the same. I mean, Jason Statham. Is he any different? Is Chris Pratt any different? I mean, he's playing Mario, but Which I think is funny. I want to just add one thing about the Mario controversy. Is like, do you really want like an Italian guy that's acting like stereotypically Italian with that, the whole accent from back in the day? No, people don't want that either. So,
Well, if I remember correctly, the original live action movie,
yeah, Bob had an Irish dude.
Hoskins, yeah,
Isn't he Irish or Scottish or?
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But he didn't have that that Italian accent.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like I don't want to go hard into this. We might do it a different day. I think Chris Pratt is just a little bit unfairly judged. I don't think he's done anything to hurt anybody. That's me, okay?
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
know.
Do you know of anything he's done that you would say he's a bad dude?
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people are upset with him leaving Anna Faris, but
okay.
Other than that,
that's nobody's business.
And then there's like something like
the thing about the church he goes to.
Yeah.
Which
so
he hasn't really said much. James Gunn came out and said he knows this whole situation and he doesn't even go to that church. So, I mean, I don't know.
And people ain't trying to listen to James Gunn either. So,
well, okay. I mean, hey, I could be the outlier here. I just think that that's all unfair. Like, I really do. I don't think until somebody says that Chris Pratt has hurt them. Then I think he's being unfairly judged here.
I mean, I don't care. See his movies because I like him as an actor.
But he's not a great actor either. He's just like a movie star. He's got that thing that, makes him interesting.
Yeah, I like that movie that was on Amazon Prime that he did. I liked Parks and Rec when he was on that. I love Guardians of the Galaxy. So, hopefully I can say the same thing about Mario.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Now, if we find out that Chris Pratt's just a horrible dude, like he's going around Shia LaBeoufing people.
LaBeoufing?
Yeah, whatever. But until then, I just think that I feel like people are just kind of being unfair with that whole deal.
Yeah. But back on Black Adam, since we kind of went off the rails on that. But I can't wait to see the movie. I agree with him not being in the Shazam movie because I feel like Shazam is more of a comedic relief than if Shazam was like Batman in the comics, then I would have said, yeah, Shazam should have been the first movie. But the way that Shazam is and Black Adam is two totally different things. And I think it was best to introduce both of them separately.
I agree. And
sure.
I feel like after the second Shazam movie, if they introduce them towards the end or something, like to set up a third movie where like, cause like the second movie usually ends on kind of like a bad note. Right. So if Black Adam comes in, and that's what we're going to talk about in just a second, kind of like the whole premise for this movie. Cause is Black Adam like a bad guy, but if he comes in and Shazam and him are introduced in the second movie and that leads to a third movie where their tone come together, I'm okay with that. I think they did what they did. And I think that was okay.
Yeah.
Here's the premise though. Teth Adam, he was bestowed the almighty powers of the gods. After using those powers for vengeance, he was imprisoned, becoming Black Adam. 5,000 years pass. He's gone from man to myth, and now he's free. And he is, I guess, using his own unique form of justice born out of rage. And he's being challenged by modern-day heroes who form the Justice Society: Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Atom Smasher, and Cyclone. So that's the premise for the movie. I know I'm a DC guy, but that's a little further out. So like the Justice Society and all that wasn't all that interesting to me. I'm a loner, Dottie. So I don't really love the teams. You know what I mean? Like Batman, whenever he was in the Justice League, I was like, I want to see Batman just face off with his people.
Mm-hmm.
Or like
Yeah.
Batman when like he's fighting Superman's villains. Like, no.
And you know what I would want DC to do right now is make as many movies as one superhero as possible. Tell as many stories as you want. And if you want to have like a cameo appearance from The Flash, from Superman, from Batman, from Wonder Woman, put them in there for a minute, just to let the viewers know that they're in the same universe, or they're there. Or if not, don't let them do that. But since they're already on a track with using the same actors and referencing the other heroes that are in the Justice League or Justice Society or whatever, then cool. That's amazing. Use those people in those movies, but you don't have to be like Marvel. You don't have to put a team together to go up against a big baddie. If you do, again, great, but let it be in one of the standalone movies. Like obviously Superman goes up against Darkseid, so let that be his big baddie. He gets help from Wonder Woman, yada yada yada. Stop trying to make another Marvel saga. Like I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that from DC.
Yeah,
but that's just me.
I agree with you. And to that note, though, I won't spoiler too hard because people out there might not have heard about this, but there's supposed to be a cameo. Not our cameo, not you. No.
Not me.
But a cameo by someone. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
But we'll definitely watch it. We'll review it. And that's the end of my nerd updates. Cameo.
That was probably one of our longest nerd updates ever.
It was, but I feel like there was a bunch to talk about. So
yeah,
including Chris Pratt and his. No, like I don't always want to talk about controversy because we like to, but sometimes there is some of that stuff that we have to address.
Yeah.
Anyway, like mermaids and Marios. Let's talk about Andor. This is going to be a spoiler free. Basically, here's the deal. I have continued watching Andor, and this week was episode 6, The Eye. And last week I told Cameo, I said, Cameo, I'm thinking about quit watching this. So it's boring. Like they have like a good like every 3 episodes are okay. Which if you do the math, you can figure out that I loved episode 6. And so, yeah, now we're on to this week, and man, a lot more excitement, Cameo. Some beautifully filmed scenes, like just really cool. And
I'll check it out.
The problem is the highs are high and the lows are low. Like there's parts where you're like, okay, like,
I wonder if that's like intentional though.
I don't know.
I'm wondering if maybe this was Lucasfilms and Disney's idea of putting people on this like roller coaster of a show.
I think that I think that it's more that they're going for a certain kind of realism here that we haven't got in the other ones, where it's not. It's more human, because it's not about men dressed up in robot costumes. It's not about. I'm talking about like Darth Vader, even though it is about Darth Vader in a way, but not. There's no like aliens in the cast. You see what I'm saying? Like I was watching this episode, and during some of the more serious parts. Well, I mean, the whole series is serious, but just during some of the actual kind of like boots on the ground parts where they're just kind of going through some stuff that's not exciting. You know what I mean? And I was like, what
really? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just like, what would happen right now if Jar Jar Binks showed up?
I stopped watching.
But the thing is like it would be so out of place in this show. Like it would, the whole his character, like, and so if you think about that, where you've got Jar Jar Binks in, episodes 1 and 2. Was he in 3? I can't remember.
I think so. For like a split second, I don't think he was a major character.
And then he could be. He's probably dead by this show, but you know what I'm saying? Like a Jar Jar Binks type character, it'd be out of place. It wouldn't be like his whole the whole thing, And I did not like Jar Jar Binks. Okay, I
don't think anybody did.
I would have been okay with if they said he'd somehow turned into a Sith. I would have been like, that'd be interesting if he wasn't like Misa, a Sith now,
Well, have you heard of some of the fan theories?
No, go ahead with one.
I mean, I don't know really off the bat, but basically he was with the
Empire.
He wasn't. Yeah, he was with the Empire, and basically like he orchestrated the majority of all what was happening, and
like the Order 88 and stuff.
Yeah, like he was playing a bumbling idiot, and he really wasn't. He was like the mastermind behind some of the plots. I thought maybe if they did do something like that, I would probably rethink my feelings for Jar Jar Binks, but
they're not going to do that.
They're not.
They don't have the balls to do that.
No, they don't. but it would be cool.
But just imagine coming next summer on Disney Plus, Jar Jar, and he's like Jar Jar Bounty Hunter, or but it's like the tone of Andor, but Jar Jar. Like, no, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work.
Mm-mm.
Like, I would still think that, okay, that could be funny, but I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. I'd rather see something where it explains how Palpatine cloned himself and came back. I'd rather see that.
As Jar Jar.
Yeah. So Andor, man, here's the thing too. I was like, how many episodes are left? Like, this is a long series. It is long. Even though it's 12 episodes. There's only 12 episodes, which seems long. But it just seems like a long series already, 6 episodes in. Mm-hmm. But this last episode was dope, Cameo. Like, I wish you had seen it so we could talk more about it right now. But I figured, you know what? Let's just, because there might be listeners who like you last week when I said it's kind of boring. And I've seen people online say it's boring too. It's not just me. Maybe people will hear me say, okay, it's redeemed itself for another week, and they'll go back and watch it too. So I think you should go and watch it too, Cameo, and anybody else who was like, I know.
Maybe I'll just wait and watch episodes 3. Oh, I actually saw episode 3. I'll watch episode 6, 9, and 12. And since every 3 episodes are good.
It could be like that. You know what it reminds me of? The Walking Dead. Didn't you used to watch The Walking Dead?
Yeah, I watched it all the way up until Negan was introduced. I watched that season, and that was after that. I never saw what happened afterwards.
This is way off the subject, but they're making a Negan and Maggie, I want to say, spinoff. And when I saw that, I was like, why is Negan still alive? That is why I quit watching the show. Like, I love the actor. I can't think of his name right off the bat. Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yeah.
I did think of it right off the bat. But I love him, and I even like the character of Negan. It just felt so stupid that here he is. He gets introduced by, bashing everybody's heads in, and Rick lets him live episode after episode, season after season, and like to the detriment of Rick and his people. Anyway, we might have to do a deep dive because I quit watching a couple seasons after he was introduced because I was like, this is ridiculous. This doesn't even add up. So back to Andor. it feels like Walking Dead, not because somebody's coming in and bashing heads, although that would be dope. It just seemed like there would be like, oh man, this episode was awesome. I can't wait till next week. Nope, you don't get that thread again for 3 more weeks. In fact, the next one's going to be just about what was the guy, Morgan, or what was the guy that had like the bow staff? It didn't want to kill anybody. Yeah. Like, let's do a whole episode of why he doesn't want to kill people. Like, oh my God, so boring. So that's what I'm worried about with Andor. Like, maybe you're right. Maybe I should watch 7, 8, 9 and just let you know when you should pick it back up.
All right.
But episode
9, Cameron was nice. I loved it.
Yeah.
What about 7 and 8?
Boring.
Not so much.
So watch episode 6 when you can.
Okay, I'll watch it. I'll watch it tonight.
All right, let's get into She-Hulk. There will be spoilers. It's the finale. That was pretty cool at the beginning, where it looked like the old Hulk show beginning.
Yeah. That was pretty nice.
Now we have talked about all season long how much we've enjoyed She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, and I have said that as long as you're not looking for like a serious Marvel show, you should love it. And I thought that it was funny. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad they brought back Daredevil, which we had talked about like I think last week, where we were wondering if they're going to get another like a Daredevil movie or what. But there is a Daredevil show. Is it
18 episodes.
Is it called Daredevil Resurrection or
Daredevil Born Again?
Born Again, yeah. The devil's not born again. Anyway, but that is coming out like next year, right? 2023.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So looking forward to that. But totally enjoyed seeing Daredevil. And then this last episode happened, and I gotta tell you, I was let down by the finale.
You were?
I was, and I like. Okay, so there was a lot of interesting stuff that happened in the finale, things to take away from it, and there was some. It overall wasn't horrible at all, but it just let me down, and so it kind of brought like the whole series not down to like where I would say it's a piece of doo-doo, but I might give the series a B after watching the finale, when I would have given it an A+ or an A right before that.
You give that a B? Really?
Oh, well, I mean, what are you really asking me? The show or She-Hulk? She-Hulk's a 10. She's a 10. And when she's She-Hulk and she's a 20.
Right. No, but dude, I give the show an A. I thought it was kooky for sure. I think I loved pretty much every episode. The finale was kind of, I agree with you, it was kind of meh. But again, I still enjoyed it. I don't read her comics, so I don't know really much about her. But if you didn't know this, you can read some of her comics for free. Just scan the QR codes that are in the episodes, and you can read some of her issues. But I will say that I don't know how far off the wheelhouse is, with what they did in the last episode, when she breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah.
So I can't say that, that this is, like I said, isn't out of the wheelhouse for She-Hulk. But I did, like the little back and forth with Kevin.
That was hilarious. There was funny stuff for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, even with the bland ending for the series, or the season, I should say, it's just, I still give it an A. I really enjoyed the show. I know I've seen a lot of people bash this show online, and I'm like, are you watching the same thing? Do you hate women. Like, honestly, like, what is it so bad about having a She-Hulk? Is it because there's another Hulk in the films now? Or, exactly, like, what is y'all's reasoning? And please put it in the comments below. All right, because I want to know why, other than, oh, well, this is just boring, or whatever. I want some good reasons why you do not like this show.
I honestly think that it's just because it's just doesn't fit the Marvel formula, which is funny about like what they did to the show, the finale.
Mhm.
Okay. But I felt like, let me just tell you. So spoilers, by the way, for people who are just tuning in. I don't know why you would just be tuning in, because it's not live, but but anyhow, here's the thing. So they have this whole ending that like really it had built up for. They had a twist too, where the dude she was dating was the one who was behind stealing all her stuff. He was really just wanting to get her blood.
Mhm.
Well, no, she wasn't dating him. He was trying to, but he had also
Right.
used a guy that was, she had hooked up with.
Mhm.
And but yeah, so there's the twist. This guy wants to be a Hulk. So he injects it, he becomes a Hulk, right? And then She-Hulk shows up as this is happening. He's like leading one of these like, rallies or whatever. And Abomination is there, and he's being Abomination. And she's like, I don't like this. And so she jumps out of she literally breaks the fourth wall and jumps into like the making of TV show, which was funny. It was like, all this was funny. Okay. I'm not even hating on that. The fact that she did this,
Mhm.
cause then she goes and she's like, I want to talk to Kevin. And they're like, nobody talks to Kevin. They make her sign an NDA. And then when she meets Kevin, who we all assume is Kevin Feige, it's a robot that like basically runs algorithms to come up with all of the storylines. And so she's saying like, this is very formulaic for Marvel. Like it's like the soldier truth or super serum, and just all these storylines where that's the bad guy's whole goal is he's going to turn himself into another superhero, whatever.
Yeah.
And so legitimate. There was comedy. She was saying, Hulk smash, and how she Hulk smashed Matt Murdock. Hilarious. She was asking Kevin when we were going to get the X-Men. I loved it. There were so many good things about it that it was kind of like we were sitting there. I'm like, I don't like this, but I think it's hilarious, right? So then she convinces Kevin to give her a different ending, right?
Mhm.
So she jumps back in. Well, they didn't do a different ending. Hulk doesn't show up. That's the only, because he shows up and she's like, I don't need Saved by Hulk. So he doesn't show up, I guess, till later. And then, but Abomination turned himself in. Seems stupid. The other guy, he got arrested. So he still must have tried to steal her serum, right?
Yeah. That all that stuff happened. It was just that the serum didn't work.
Yeah. So it was just like, you didn't give us something better. Like, it just was different. And then it ended with like a picnic or something. And again, funny stuff. There was funny stuff throughout the episode, but it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It just left me thinking that wasn't the best execution.
No, it really wasn't. It really wasn't.
So you want to give it a B too?
No, I'll still give it an A. I wanted something bigger. No, I'll give it an A.
Here's what I want.
I'm staying.
What
you want, Brad?
Well, Kevin said, save it for the movie, the Hulk movie. And I was like, please tell me that means there's a Hulk movie coming, because I want that. I loved the Incredible Hulk. Loved him when I was a kid. The TV show, I didn't even know it was a comic book. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, I love the TV show so much growing up, and I even like the Ed Norton movie, and was it Eric Bana or
Eric Bana? I think.
Bana? What didn't he play one of the Hulk in a movie? Like I didn't
The
even
first
think.
one.
Yeah, I didn't think those were terrible. They weren't the best, but they weren't terrible. So I think that the fact that now they have the ability to actually make a Hulk movie, because they couldn't make. Didn't a different studio have the rights to the Hulk for a movie? For his own movie?
Universal.
So now Disney has that, and I think we're going to get one. However, and like, man, Thor Ragnarok without the Hulk in it, I don't think would be one of my favorite movies like it is.
Mm-mm.
So, because he's his work friend. So I want to see that movie so much, but he shows up at the end with his son, who looks goofy as hell.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, he looked like a little nerd, and not in a good way, not like us nerds.
What is this dude? Dave Costanza from Seinfeld. People are saying that he looks like him.
Like Costanza. That's funny.
I was like,
George Costanza.
George.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, that is funny. I didn't think about that, but he did. He looked like, oh, hey guys, I'm just,
But
teenage
yeah,
Hulk.
I'm excited to see what happens. Maybe that might be, what is it, World War Hulk, maybe, or whatever it's called.
I would so much rather that like somehow we were going to see She-Hulk and Hulk go up against Abomination.
That would have been cool. But the crazy thing is that Abomination was really not trying to fight anybody.
No, I know. That's why I thought it was lame that he went to jail at the end, like just for turning into Abomination. Like,
yeah, I thought that was kind of whack. So
yeah. And plus, like, here's the other thing. Like the episode before, like she's bonding with him. Like they're kind of doing like the therapy together, and you know what I mean? And then the next episode, he's going to jail. I was like, come on. I didn't love that. And I thought it could have set up for something cooler later down the road, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I'll give the show an A, like an A minus, not an A plus or a middle A, just an A minus, a 90.
Okay.
What do you think?
That's fine.
You're still at an A plus?
I'm still not an A plus, just an A.
Now,
give it a 95.
Now, when she's just Jen, not all hulked up, I'll give her an A plus. She's a 10, Jen. All right. All right, Cameo. It is time to talk about House of the Dragon, which we've been. Go ahead.
My favorite part of House of the Dragon is when Sho'nuff comes into the movie theater and starts fighting everybody. I love it.
Is that like Attack of the Dragon, or is that?
Oh, that's the Last Dragon. I'm sorry.
The Last Dragon. Yes.
I'm sorry. My bad. House of the Dragon, totally different. But the Last Dragon, I do believe, is on HBO Max. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the one where the dude.
If you haven't seen it,
like the dude gets all like electric.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that. He looks so
the first
dope.
Super Saiyan.
Yeah. But we are, for our podcast here, we haven't talked about the last two shows, including the one last night. In case people, well, I think you might have actually tried to fool everyone because you've got the same, either you slept in your hoodie or you were like, for continuity's sake, I'm going to put on the hoodie from yesterday.
I'll just say the last part.
He slept in it.
It's cold out.
People could probably tell I have a costume change, but well, we didn't want to put out the show because we record on Sunday nights, and then be like a week behind because the season finale is next week.
Yeah.
So this is we're talking about the last two episodes, episodes 8 and 9. Last night was the Green Council. And like the episode before, we got to see the king. Man, I mess these people's names up all the time. Is it
Viserys?
Viserys, yeah. Like he wasn't doing too good at all.
I mean,
and we had an age jump.
He looked okay.
Did he? It had jumped 6 years from episode 7 to the episode 8, and so that the biggest noticeable difference was Aegon and Aemond. Both of them were not the younger guys that we had seen before, so they definitely are adult now. In fact, Aegon, I always want to say Egon when I say his name. But Aegon, we got to see a little bit more of like just how devious he is. Like,
dude,
I
don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's just, his character, but the way he holds his mouth, I want to punch him in it.
Yeah.
I want to punch him dead in his mouth.
He does have like a punchable face. He definitely does.
That's it right here.
Yeah.
So hopefully you're watching the YouTube, because you won't be able to see my face if you're just listening to the audio. Yeah. But yeah.
So yeah, so that was episode 8, and so there was some cool stuff that happened there. They had like a dinner where they were they were like the king wanted them to all get along.
Yeah.
Because he knows the time is near for him.
Mm-hmm. And
so you see Rhaenyra, I kept calling her, like I said, I mess all these names up. I kept calling her Rhaenyra, but there's no S on it. It's just like Rhaenyra, right?
Yeah, because supposedly Daenerys is like her great granddaughter or great granddaughter or something like that.
Yeah, and then
yeah.
So Rhaenyra, and then what was the aunt's name? Because the aunt has like a name that's almost, it's very similar.
We'll just call her the queen that never was.
Well, that's a very accurate description. But she comes into play like in last night's episode more so. But yeah, so in that episode, they were wanting everybody to kind of switch, and everybody said, "Nah, we're not going to do that." Then the king dies, and they have to move on, and basically, Queen Alicent, she was like, "Nah, he told me he wants Aegon to be the new king." So
yeah, and the sad thing is that I'm gonna say Viserys. King Viserys, didn't realize what he was saying. And I haven't been around people taking their last breaths in that kind of like sickly state. So I'm not sure, how cognitive people are in that moment of passing, but I could tell that he wasn't there, because he was saying a few things that Alicent had no idea what he was talking about until he said Aegon needs to be king.
Yeah, like I was like, I couldn't even hear him. I couldn't even hear what he was saying. So I was
I'd have subtitles on.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, are they making it to where you can't hear it purposefully, so that like in the next episode when she says, well, he said he wants him to be king, maybe that wasn't actually what happened. So, but you watched it with subtitles.
Yeah, he did say he wanted Aegon, but I think Aegon was like his great grandfather or grandfather or something like that. I can't remember. And or actually, yeah. I can't honestly. I don't want to say something wrong and get called out on it. Well, I mean, I don't care. Yeah, call me out on it. Correct me, because I don't want to sound stupid. But yeah, I think Aegon was either a predecessor of some sort or a descendant of his. Because I think when
of whom
Rhaenyra and Daemon's child, because she has 2 more kids. One's name is Viserys, and I think she was going to name another one Aegon.
Oh, Oh, okay.
I think, but I gotta watch because I think it happened in episode. Yeah, it was at the beginning of episode 8. Whenever she was talking, when she came to his chambers, and he was laid up in the bed,
and like introduced him to the young kid, and then she's pregnant again, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. So
yeah,
her name, like I've been calling her Renarius all year. For 8.
Sounded good to me.
But it's Renaria, and then the her aunt is just like Rhaenys.
Oh, okay.
Like think anus, but say Rhaenys, right?
YouTube, don't dock us for anything.
I'm done with YouTube anyway. Like not that we're still using YouTube, but they're pissing me off. But anyway, and if I can't
we're not
anus,
the only ones. We're not the only ones, Brad. So
yeah. Well, the thing is, though, this is a whole other rant, which I'm only going to keep to like 10 seconds here. There are way worse podcasts talking about way worse stuff, and then they ding us, and I'm like, we're talking about TV shows and movies. We're not even. It's not like Anyway, all right, let's get off of YouTube. No. I mean, we'll stay on YouTube. Don't worry, listeners. But
right.
So there was a cool scene though in the episode right before the king dies, where he's as people are doing the Valerians are basically saying that her kids aren't true Valerians and all that. But as there's a few scenes, but the first scene that I thought was cool, he's walking up to his throne and he's haggard, man. He's bent over. He ain't doing good. And his crown falls off. And Damon, who has seemed to kind of soften his attitude, since his brother's on his deathbed, he picks up the crown and puts it on him, right? And I thought, oh man, that was so good. Like that showed really like that he's, that was improvised.
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah, they didn't mean for his crown to fall off, and so Damon, is it Matt Smith, the actor? He picks it up.
Doctor Who.
Yeah, he puts it back on his head, and they were like, "Leave it." And I was like, "Man, that was a great scene." Like, it showed that he really, it was, had accepted that his brother is the true king, and because he wanted to be king later on, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, you can go ahead because I was going to say something too. But,
no, go ahead.
No, it was going to be about the dinner. I didn't know if you were going to talk more about that scene that where he came into the fold. We are in just a second, but before they got to the dinner part, right? Like the whole part where they're sitting at the throne, where he comes does that. And they're talking about her children not being real children, Valerians or whatever. That was before the dinner, right? Right.
Yeah. So, Damon though was like, "Oh, you're gonna talk about my lady like that? You're gonna disrespect my boo thing?"
Right.
And off with that dude's head. Like, it was really funny because I think the king was like, if you don't watch your words, you'll lose your tongue. And he goes, he can keep his tongue. Like, oh, dang. That was a pretty dope scene. So then they do get to the dinner, and I thought it was cool because the ladies, they were friends when they were young, but then this Game of Thrones has ruined their friendship, but they made up. They made up. And I thought that was really cool because that's what he wanted to see was his family embrace each other. But what he also wanted to see was his grandsons and his sons, make peace. And that wasn't happening.
No. And I think everything could have been, okay if Aemon, or no. Aegon. If Aegon wasn't such a douche. I know Aemon, however you say his name. He obviously, prior to episode 9, in that final scene, he doesn't want to be a king.
Well, no,
He likes
Aegon. Yeah, you said Aegon, right? Not Aemon.
Yeah, Aegon.
Yeah.
No, Aemon. Aemon.
No,
Aemon is
Aemon
the,
does one. He's the younger one.
I thought that was Aegon.
No, Aegon's the older one. He's the one that they made.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
Sorry.
Aegon was being like a jerk because he was like telling that dude's wife or soon to be wife, like, hey, if you want to get satisfied, you gotta come over here.
Right. But
See me.
so Aemon, I think everything would have been fine because Aegon wasn't, doesn't want to be king.
Yeah.
Doesn't want the weight of the crown or anything like that. So, it kind of, just brushed them off, because it was hilarious when Jace took his basically danced with his wife.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
technically his aunt, but whatever.
Yeah. No. Yes.
Yeah, that's his aunt. He married his sister.
Yeah, he did. He married his sister, but to the Strong Boys, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's right.
So,
You're right.
So, that was one of my favorite parts. And then
it's so hard because they're all married and dating each other. It's like, anyway, go ahead.
But, like it was just hilarious when they were all doing their toasts and all that fun stuff. But to be serious though, I really enjoyed Patty Constantine, the guy that plays Viserys.
Yeah.
I think he did wonderful at that scene.
Constantine.
Constantine. Okay. Yeah. And I just really loved that whole scene with him being like, hey, like, if you don't respect the crown, basically respect me. Your father, your grandfather.
Yeah. Like this was more about family, like than the whole...
and I think Viserys too didn't really want the weight of the crown either. It was something that he was thrown into, and he didn't really think that he was doing a great job at it because he made his daughter, his firstborn, queen, and nobody liked it.
Well, not
so
queen, but successor, right?
Well, I mean,
she would be king. Queen, yeah. So let me ask you this real quick: had she become queen, would Alicent Hightower just be nothing at that point, or would she be queen as well? Like, would she be queen and then Rhaenyra would be like ruling queen? How would that work?
I honestly don't know, but I think she might still have the title.
Right.
It's just that
she don't get to run things.
Right. Yeah. So they would still respect her as royalty. It's just that she wouldn't have a say over what Queen Rhaenyra would have done.
Right.
But back to his little speech, man. It's just like a family dinner, and you have your grandparent who's held the family together through thick and thin, and all they want you to do during this family dinner is just be civil.
Right.
Like they're about to pass away, and at that point in time it wasn't Game of Thrones, it was the game of family. And that I think that whole scene was just done perfectly. It was great. I love it.
Yeah. And then of course, like we were saying, Aemon stood up and instead of saying something nice, he said it like it was going to be like it was very two-faced, because he was like, the boys are very strong. And that, of course, is saying that they're the descendants of the dude that, who probably, most likely, I think we all know he was probably their father, not the Valerian. Even though she said that they tried to, do the thing to make the kids, but
just didn't work.
I guess the other one had strong swimmers.
Guess so.
And of course, the boys knew what he was saying by that. They weren't like, this isn't a compliment. And so they got in a fight. And but
Aemon can take a punch though.
Oh man. Yeah, like honestly, Aemon should be king. Like he's the toughest of them all. I feel like.
I don't think just because you're tough, I don't think you should be king.
I mean,
I don't think he should be king because I think he is very he if this was Star Wars, he would definitely be a Sith Lord.
yeah,
Definitely.
But
And I would think him being king obviously is going to what is it? Push the agenda of Otto, his grandfather on Alicent's side.
yeah.
So I don't think that would be, a great idea at all.
So let's jump to the next episode, but keep this conversation going. Where the king is dead, they're looking for Aegon so that they can go ahead and hurry up and make him the king before word reaches Rhaenyra. And that sounds like also like why do they have STD sounding names anyway? So Rhaenyra, and what was Alicent wasn't like, because they were like, we should kill her before this becomes a problem. She's like, no, let's make her a good deal, but she's just gonna have to understand that this is what the king wanted for his son.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was more traditional that the son would be the king. That's why Rhaenyra, is that her?
Mm-hmm.
I keep messing up her name.
Rhaenyra, yeah.
Yeah. That's why the aunt, no, it's Rhaenys, right? Yeah. Rhaenys.
Oh, the aunt, sorry. Yeah.
The aunt, yeah. That's why she's not the queen, which comes into play a little bit later too. So, but the Aemon, while he's looking for Aegon, like he's hoping that they don't even find him. Like in a way, there he's hoping, maybe somebody snatched him or he ran off, because he said, like, I've studied all the philosophies and all the stuff. Like I would be a great king. Aegon doesn't even want to be king.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like because of that, because Rhaenyra, she's kind of questionable as a leader with her decisions that she made.
Mm-hmm.
So, technically, truly, that's why I think Aemon might actually be a better king. Yeah, because I think you had to have a tough. Because look at all the stuff that happens. You have to be tough, and none of the kids are ready for that. In fact, I think, and I obviously, if we jump to the end a little bit more, I think the queen or the aunt should have been queen all along.
Yeah, I think she has a better grasp of what true rulership means.
Mm-hmm.
I think she would definitely be fair.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't be trying to push her own agenda either. So I think with her being, queen of the seven realms or whatever it's called, I think she would have been the best choice.
Mm-hmm.
Even before Viserys was king.
I agree.
So, I don't think we would have much to doubt when it came to her, but how traditions are, it's always a male.
Yeah.
And Viserys was like, I'm going to change that. It doesn't always have to be by the book. And then you see how people, even today, you see how people don't like change. They didn't like Barack Obama as president because he was black. They didn't want a woman president when Hillary Clinton was running for office. So, it's crazy how times have not changed when it comes to like hierarchy and royalty. So it's pretty amazing how, history just repeats itself. And because, I'm not saying a woman president now would be the best choice because I'm not into politics. I'm not saying it would be a bad choice. But in this instance, in House of the Dragon, I definitely think Rhaena should have been king for sure. Or queen, sorry.
Because here's the thing. If she was queen, you wouldn't have this upcoming war that's about to happen. You wouldn't have all this angling. I mean, there would still be probably stuff going on behind people's back and whatnot, you know.
Yeah.
But I would think that she would probably cut the head off of that snake real quick.
Yeah, and jumping to the end of the episode,
Feet,
or should we?
sexy feet. Oh, that's not what you wanted to talk about?
Ain't that her uncle? I mean, I know it's not.
Aren't they all?
I mean, I guess, but like, like what?
No, but
Like, come on now.
you're talking about old Clubfoot here.
Yeah, Lord Laris.
Laris Strong.
Oh no, that's not her uncle. That
No.
was the guy that he killed. That was his brother.
Yeah, he killed his brother
Yeah.
and his dad.
Yeah.
That dude reminds me of Tyrion Lannister. Tyrion. What is the actor's name? The little person.
Oh, okay. But really, you think that?
Yeah,
Tyrion
because
was a good guy.
But Tyrion, well, yeah, I mean, he was a good guy, but he also was smart enough to outplay everybody else, and everybody overlooked him because he had that, because he was a little person, and then I'm not saying dude is Clubfoot like to be rude. That's his nickname on the show is Clubfoot.
Yeah.
So, but he also has a reason why everybody would overlook him. But and so he's using that to his advantage because he's basically telling Alicent all the secrets that that he's privy to because people are underestimating him, and I feel like people underestimated Tyrion too. So whereas I think Tyrion was a better guy, I feel like there's some similarities in those characters.
Yeah. And and I feel bad for Alicent too, because again, she made up with Rhaenyra, and she doesn't really want to step on her feet because she doesn't want to go back to them button heads again. But she heard what she wanted to hear, even though she didn't really understand the context because she didn't know what King Viserys was saying towards his last breaths. So she's kind of in a horrible situation, trying to please her father, also trying to deal with oh my goodness, just said his name, Lord Laris, and what he's trying to do, he's going behind her back and killing people, and that's not what she was wanting him to do.
Was she not wanting him to do it, or was she just not wanting to be involved herself? Is she I don't want you to do it, but I'll benefit from it?
I don't think she wanted him to do it at all.
Yeah.
I think because she was upset that Lord Laris did that. And, at the end of the whole thing, she was like, I don't want anybody to basically trace that back to me.
Right. But she still showed him the goods. That was so off-putting. I gotta say, that scene, I thought it was interesting, the dynamic of it's interesting. But I was like, I could have done without all that.
I mean, yeah.
But I felt like Quentin Tarantino was like, yes. Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have a whole movie about this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's jump to the very end because the aunt, she is one of the knights was trying to get her out of there, and they got separated, and she got pulled up into the whole, the crowd that was going to watch the usurping of the crown, basically, as they were going to give it to Aegon. And she's there, and she gets a bright idea. She's like, hey, nobody's really watching. So she goes and gets her dragon, and her dragon is the biggest, baddest dragon in the land.
No, it's not.
It's not?
Aemon's dragon is the largest dragon.
I thought that she said something about having the most powerful dragon or something.
I think hers might be the strongest.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But her or oh my goodness, Amon's dragon is the biggest.
Okay. All right. Well, so
that was Damon's wife's dragon. I can't remember her name.
Yeah. So she goes down there, she gets her dragon, and she busts up. And I was wondering, I was like, because any wedding, any ceremony, it never goes as planned. Never. Even back to Game of Thrones. Because when I watched Game of Thrones, I had already watched it after a few seasons so I'd heard like about the red wedding, and I was like, everybody was talking about it. So when I actually saw it, I was like, oh, that was pretty dope, actually. Right. But yeah, so if there's a ceremony of any type, it's going bad.
Right.
And so she busts up through the floor with her dragon, and oh my God. Okay. And hopefully everybody's understanding that we're spoilers. Spoilers. But dude, when tell me what sense this would have made, but the dragon is giving off strong, I'm about to
eat everybody in this place.
All she had to say was Dracarys or whatever, and boom, they're all fried. But
Dracarys!
Alicent jumps in front of Aegon, and I'm like, what was that gonna do? Because I'm pretty sure that fire is probably hot enough that would have melted everybody that was on and I thought it was really dope because I was waiting for it, especially what we saw earlier in the season with the dragon that ended up being Aemon's. But I was like, we're about to see it again, it's gonna be sweet. I was like surprised that the Green Council's about to just be like, I was really surprised, but I thought it was coming, and then she just kind of was like, I could have got you. And it was like, I'm out.
Right. And I think too, with her with Rhaenys still thinking that her son is dead. And then her daughter, basically, I can't really say the word because I don't want to get flagged for it, but she bathed in the flames as well. I think, as a mother, she kind of respected her in the sense to not do it. But I also think too that I'm technically their family. As much as you hate it, I think that she puts family before anything else. And I think, that's why, as a mother, as somebody in the family, and also too, Alicent did try to give her a cush deal. Even though they were trying to take her dragon.
And Alicent wasn't wrong, because Rhaenyra and Daemon, the aunt kind of blames them for the death of her daughter. And was he married to her daughter?
Just the son.
Oh, it's just her son, but part of her, extended family. You see what I'm saying? She feels like, they were offed on purpose so that Daemon and Rhaenyra could be together. And I'm sure she still kind of thinks that that's possible. So she might still have a little bit in her heart, like, let's just see how this plays out, because I don't really like either of them. Plus, she also doesn't really, of course, she doesn't love the whole idea that this patriarchy is being, because remember, she asked Alicent, like, have you ever thought about you being the queen?
Yeah.
Which I don't think Alicent would be a good queen at all. Like, not like a ruling queen, you know what I mean?
No.
It would all be her dad, Otto, running the show.
Yeah.
Faux show.
Which, she did mention that too. So
yeah. And then while they were looking for Aegon, there was like this kid fight club going on, and they showed a kid, and I think they kind of made like allusion to the fact that might be one of Aegon's own children. That he maybe, got somebody knocked up in the city or whatever, and then took that kid and put him in the fight. And that kid was only like 4 or 5 looking.
Yeah.
So Aegon's definitely like, I got to see that guy bite the dust. You know what I mean? And I feel like even though Amon might not be a whole lot better, I don't think he's out there doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that pretty much leaves us, looking at this week for people watching, season finale, episode 10.
Yeah.
And I've loved this series all the way through. I thought every episode was a really good one.
It really was.
Even the time jumps didn't bother me so much. I just really liked it. All the family dating was kind of, I don't love that, but it is what it is.
Right.
It is what it is. So yeah, I can't wait.
Those were the times.
Now let me ask you, because there's some sequels to Game of Thrones coming too. This is obviously a prequel, and I believe that it's a Jon Snow sequel.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Was there anybody else that you would have rather saw a sequel about? Did Tyrion make it out? Did he live? I can't remember now. So. I would much rather Peter Dinklage, by the way.
There you go.
I would much rather kind of see one about him, because I loved him in that show. In fact, he was one of the big reasons that I stayed with it.
Yeah,
because he's such a great actor.
Man, I love anything that he's in. He was in a musical called Cyrano that when I went to Bali, I watched that on the flight there, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I like musicals, so there's that. It's not everybody's cup of tea. So
yeah, he's really good. Really, really good. I'm not into musicals that much either, though, so I might not watch that one. All right, we got a couple more minutes before we get out of here. Cameo, I want to talk about Nerdflix and chilling, and I'm just gonna throw out mine real quick. The Watcher on Netflix. It's really good, and it's by, actually we've talked about enjoying Dahmer. It's by Ryan Murphy, who did all that too. So I definitely think everybody needs to check it out. I don't want to give too much away, but it's based on a true story. And as you watch it, you're just like, how could this be a true story at all? Like, it's just nuts. It's nuts. So that's my,
is it
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't think it's like, perfectly true to the real true story. And I'd actually love to see a documentary about like what really happened, but the show is really good. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
So
it's
nothing that's gory or anything like that. It's just a suspense kind of show.
I love suspense. So
yeah.
On that.
Yeah, you'll love it. I think you'll love it because it is nuts. What do you got?
This is also on Netflix. It's with Mila Kunis, and it's called Luckiest Girl Alive.
Yes.
Really, really good. So there was something, because I don't want to give too much of the premise away. I want you to go check it out. Mila Kunis is a writer for the Women's Bible, and she, is about to get a job with the New York Times, but there's this story that there's this incident that happened at school where there was, let's just say a Columbine-like experience happened. And, the guy that was part of it, who came out alive, is blaming her for it. And yeah, so it's kind of, a deal, a story within another story. But Luckiest Girl Alive with Mila Kunis. Definitely go check that out on Netflix.
All right, will do, Cameo. Thank you very much for your recommendation. I will take
you
that
as well, brother.
All right, I got videotapes to return.
All right, me too.
Smile.
Keep nerdy, baby.
Wakanda forever!
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.
That was awesome!
Freeze all motor functions.